this video for you all. It's Mrs. Burton. I thought that I would come in and do a graphic organizer to help you with an activity on Canvas. So up until this point, you all should have read at least up to chapter 13 if you've been keeping up with the assignments on Canvas, but it's okay if you weren't able to get online and had some other things to worry about. But I did want to make sure you guys were understanding what was happening around chapter 14 and 15. So I'm going to use the chapter summaries just because they go a little bit easier and faster. So I'm going to read chapter 14 out loud to all of you, and then we're going to go back and we are going to take some notes that I will model about the beginning of the book, how these three characters, Percy, Grover, and Annabeth, have how they begun their journey together and individually and where they're at in the beginning. And then we will analyze how they are in chapters 14 and 15 and what we've learned about them. So chapter 14, here's our summary. So it says, Percy tumbles into the water below and he's thinking about how he's alive and not a smushed pancake. He also realizes that he is not wet despite being underwater. He then realizes that he is breathing underwater. So keep in mind that this is after Percy was attacked by Echidna and the Chimera, the big lion, goat, snake creature. So he jumped into the water thinking that possibly his dad would save him, and Echidna was sent by Zeus because, again, Zeus thinks that he stole the lightning bolt. So Percy wonders why his father, I'm right here, bothered to save him. He feels like a failure and is worried about the people left up in the St. Louis Ark. Chimera probably barbecued them, and Percy thinks that he should just stay at the bottom of the river and join the catfish and the other bottom feeders. A female figure appears to him, and she says that she is a messenger and that there is hope for his mom. She warns him not to trust the gifts, and Percy is confused. What does she mean? And she cannot explain any more, but she tells him to keep going. His father believes in him. Percy comes to share about a block away from the Ark, and he hears sirens and sees an emergency vehicle swarming in the area and knows he has to get away. He overhears a news reporter talk about survivors, and he feels revealed that his family survived. As he tries to stay out of the way, Grover and Annabeth find him. They know that we can't stay in the area and everyone is looking for Percy. They work to get back to the Amtrak station and catch a train to Denver. So this paragraph right here is probably a big important piece for us because this is a turning point with Percy and his father's relationship. So think in your head for 30 seconds, why would that be important? So if you thought in your head that this is important because Percy has an actual person talking to him about his father and that his father does believe in him. Up until this point, chapters 1 through 13, he really has been questioning what his dad even thinks about him. So this paragraph is super important to Percy, his confidence, and his relationship with his father and how he's going to continue on for the journey. The next chapter is when they arrive in Denver. So we've talked about before that whenever the setting changes, that's when we realize that there might be another issue coming on. So at this point, I want to take a little break before we move on to chapter 15, and I want us to take some notes on these characters. So Percy, we know that he was not confident, unsure of himself, didn't know much about his father, lived with his mother, and loved his mother. And he didn't fit in at any school he went to. Thinking about what we know about Percy at this point, we're also going to add on with Grover that at the beginning, Grover was just Percy's regular friend. We're going to put regular in quotation marks because we're not sure if he was regular or not. We also are going to write down that Grover seemed like a bit of a goof, not confident in his skills. And after we learn more about Grover, Grover was responsible for Thalia, Zeus's daughter, and he failed that mission. So he doesn't really feel very good about himself because he failed another mission with another half-blood. Annabeth, when we first met her, we also realized that she was someone who was a bit aggressive, seemed like she wanted to prove everything, so she was a little arrogant, and not very friendly when it came to meeting new people. And I'm going to even put that she was a know-it-all. Now, we know that Annabeth possibly has in common that we know that Annabeth does not have the best relationship with her father. So I'm going to put doesn't have best relationship with her father. This was in chapter 13 in my last video where we were talking about that she knew that her father didn't want her, and it seemed like her and Percy connected on that level. Also, Annabeth at this point is learning to listen to other half-bloods / friends as they are on this journey. She's kind of getting away from being bossy. Grover's kind of in the middle of the pack with trying to figure out, like, am I helpful? Am I not helpful? Am I hurting my friends? Am I getting in the way? He also was getting upset with Percy when Percy tries to step in and save him. So I'm going to put in this box that Grover doesn't want to be saved or a burden on his friends. I'm going to leave this box empty at this point, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight this box and mark it with a different color if I can find it. I'm going to put it as red. So this red box, this is what you are going to respond in the Canvas assignment. So I'm going to put chapter 14-15 character analysis as the title of the task, and then you are going to actually fill in that box, and I'm going to snip this so then I can save it and make sure that you know that this is the part that you're filling in right here, and then I can upload this. I do want to keep reading though about chapter 15 just to make sure that you guys know what's going on with chapter 15. So they arrive in Denver, they as in Percy, Grover, and Annabeth, on June 14th, and think about how hungry they are. They haven't eaten or showered in days. Annabeth says that they need to talk to Chiron before they find food. She wants to tell them about Percy's conversation with the river spirit. So the river spirit right here is the woman that came to Percy and told him about his dad. So now we know that there's another type of mythical creature that we've learned about. They find a do-it-yourself car wash to IM. Percy asks if they're going to instant message, but Grover says IM actually means iris messaging. They need to find Miss and to pay a drachma, the god's money, to ask the goddess Iris to help get their message back to Half-Blood Hill. Luke answers the message and tells him that Chiron isn't around, but he'll listen to Percy's story and pass it along. Percy tells him all about the monsters at the Ark and the river spirit. Luke suggests that Hades has Zeus's lightning bolt. After the water runs out, they head to a diner and try to order some food, except they don't have any money. Right about the time that they either need to dine and dash or leave without ordering, a huge biker pulls up on an enormous black motorcycle. The man comes inside the diner and sits with Percy, Annabeth, and Grover. He barks at the waitress to get the kids food, and Percy feels himself getting really angry with the guy around. He realizes that it's Clarice's dad, Ares, the god of war. No wonder Percy feels so angry. He's feeding off of Ares' mean energy. So right here, I want to pause for a second and keep in mind that Ares is the god of war, and he also is the son, I believe, of Zeus. So technically, Ares and Percy are cousins, as well as Annabeth. So they're all kind of related, and I'm wondering at this point, what is Ares' purpose of coming into this part of the story? So you always want to think about when a new character is introduced, what is their purpose in the plot of the story? Ares tells Percy he needs to do him a favor. He left his shield in an abandoned water park where he was meeting his girlfriend before they got interrupted. Percy doesn't want to help, but Annabeth tells him they can't ignore a quest of God. Grover tells Percy that this isn't good, and Ares sought him out. They have to go and get the shield. Annabeth says sometimes strength, or Ares, has to bow to wisdom. Maybe Ares needs Percy's help because Ares isn't smart enough. They set off to the water park, and once they arrive, they stock up on the clean clothes and head to the Tunnel of Love to find Ares' shield. They find the shield at the bottom of an empty pool along with a pretty pink scarf that must belong to Aphrodite, the goddess of love. The sides of the pool are mirrors, and Grover keeps a lookout up top while Annabeth and Percy go to the bottom. As soon as they pick up the shield, they realize it is a trap. There is an ETA sketched on it, which Annabeth recognizes as a symbol for Hephaestus, Aphrodite's husband. Tiny robotic spiders emerge and Annabeth screams. She is terrified of spiders. Music starts playing and the loudspeaker says that there will be a broadcast to Olympus in 1 minute. Annabeth realizes that this trap must have been set by Hephaestus to catch his wife and Ares cheating. Percy sees some pipes and realizes that they can use the water to get out. They are in a boat and the entrance to the Tunnel of Love isn't far. He yells for Grover to go and find the water controls, and Grover can't seem to turn the water on. But Percy is able to channel the water to escape. He sizes up the ride, realizes it is broken, and they will have to jump. Annabeth tells him to jump, and they are able to clear the gate. Unfortunately, they are headed straight towards the pavement, and Grover uses the flying shoes to slow their tail. He isn't strong enough to help them, or to stop them, but he keeps them from getting seriously injured. So, thinking about this chapter right here, you want to make sure that you're going back and thinking, okay, Ares comes along and surprises Percy and wants them to go on a mission for him. Thinking about the purpose of the mission, was he trying to get Percy off the track of finding the lightning bolt? Down here, it sounds like that they were set up by a trap by another god. Was Ares supposed to be the one that got caught, or did Ares know that there was a trap and he wanted them to go there first? These are the questions we have to think about as we are thinking about the plot of the story and what all these gods and goddesses are doing in order to stop or help Percy. So again, as you're think about how did Percy respond in this situation, and was he helpful or more confident, or did he cower away and not help at all? This is going to be posted on Canvas, and again, on Thursday, we will have a Zoom meeting where we can go ahead and talk about chapter 15 and 16 and how it's helping us as the readers figure out the theme of the story. Bye.